If you've been watching the channel for a long time, you guys will know I've always said I'm not a big advocate of the 9 to 5. I never said I was a fan of it. I actually said I wasn't a fan of it. However, in the past month or so, I've decided to actually get a job, and I've been working it for the past month. Now, some people might say that goes directly against everything that I've been talking about here on the channel, and to an extent, I would agree. You see, I've always known that I didn't really want to work a 9 to 5 like that, not long term. It's something that I can do if I have to, don't get me wrong, but it's never really been the ambition. Some people really aspire to be in a this or a that, and that's cool, but it's never really been something that I've set my eyes on. So then you might ask, why have I started working a job? Well, to be honest, it's not really a 9 to 5, it's more of a part-time gig. Admittedly, there are some days where I am working 5 days a week, but most weeks I'm not. Maybe 4 days is realistic, sometimes 3. Now, that has been enough to teach me ever so much. Because while some people aspire to it, it's never been something that I've been a fan of, and that's why I decided to get one. Because now I understand really what I think about a 9 to 5 or having a job. Because there's one thing saying, like I have in the past year or so, oh, I don't want to work a job, but it's a very different thing when you've worked it, when you've actually been there, and when you've actually sat there on the shift or in the day and thought, what did I enjoy about today? Because there are some real fun things, but what have I absolutely hated? And comparing and contrasting which side weighs up heavier and working everything out right. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly where I work, but I work in a shop. It's a kind of job where you are on your feet for extended periods of time, 6 to 8 hours, sometimes a day, or a shift. And honestly, it's okay. The shifts can drag a bit, but realistically, it's not that difficult. There's not much to do. You are running around a bit, but honestly, it's not bad. Now, by working in this job, like I say, I have now learnt how it feels to work in a 9 to 5, and it's realigned how hard I've been working on my own businesses. For those that don't know, I've always run my own businesses since about the age of 13. I started off selling iPhones on eBay, then I moved on to making YouTube videos, and all of these things were successful, right? Made YouTube videos for, well, I'm still making them now, but I started in 2016, where I was 13, but they weren't profitable until I was about 16, I'd say. Age 17, took that money, invested in stocks, that went well, and now I do eBay selling again, right? So it's been a full loop, and actually now I do all 3 things. Now, when you work for yourself, and when you don't, or when you have never known how it feels to work in a job long term, there's a level of, I'm not going to lie, because I've been there, right? This is from my experience. There's a level of entitlement that you feel in life. There's a lack of work ethic that you feel in life. Now, prior to this past 2 months, really since about the start of last month, I was doing very little work on my own businesses, I'm not going to lie. I was uploading maybe 2 times a week on YouTube. I was maybe doing 5 listings a day on eBay 3 days a week. I'd really started to slack off in a lot of ways. Because, again, you don't know how it feels. You don't know how important it is to run your own business. Now that I've been run off my feet, running around in a job, I have had my mind blown, right? I genuinely have. Because now I understand that if I don't take any of my businesses or all of my businesses extremely seriously, then my future looks like that. And whilst the job's not necessarily unpleasant, we're talking it's the kind of thing that you can do. Again, I don't want to give too much away about the job whilst I work there, but it's the kind of thing that you can do on a temporary thing. Maybe they want you there for a month or until Christmas, or that's the kind of job that's the kind of way I see a job. But basically, what I'm trying to say here, because I'm trying to get the point across, right? What I'm trying to say is this. Now I know how it feels, and now I know that why I don't want to work a full-time job long term. I've been taking my businesses to the next level. Because at aged 21, which I am, you're getting to a point in life where your costs of living are starting to increase, whether it's getting a car, whether it's getting a place to rent of your own, whether it's both, whether it's, I don't know, all of these different things, right? If you want to live a prosperous life where you're considered at a socially acceptable level with your friends and your peers, your living costs are starting to increase rapidly at this point. And when you get to that point, it's like, okay, you can continue living easily. I could continue doing maybe 5 listings a day, 3 days a week, but my life standards are going to literally remain the same from age 21, which is not necessarily the best position to be in. Right now, I have been listing 25 items at least a day on eBay. That can be up to 4-6 hours after work, Because now I know. Now I know, right? I worked out just to see, just for an experiment, how much I work in the job, making the job, which is not that much, right? It's minimum wage in the UK, which is around £12 an hour. Then I worked out, okay, so let's say I did 4 hours a day on eBay, and this is not in theory. I recorded the hours that I actually did, listed on eBay. I recorded them. I recorded the sales I made, the profit, not revenue I made. For the amount of hours that I put into eBay, how much did I make per hour? I made from work about £11.44 an hour. I made from eBay £38 an hour. So that taught me everything I need to know. Running my own business is obviously viable. I've always known that, but now I've seen how it can be a full-time gig and why it needs to be a full-time gig. I wouldn't say I love, but I quite like everyone that I work with at work, right? But here's the thing. I've always had friends. I've never struggled to make friends. I've never struggled to meet people, if I'm honest. So the social element, if you want to meet friends and have a social element, go join a club on a Tuesday or something, right? That kind of thing. So the social element that I thought would be there, it is there, but it's not necessarily the only or even the best way to meet people. The money element, I'm not going to lie, it is a nice extra amount. I could be making up to maybe £2,000 extra pounds a month, which realistically can make my income across all streams between £3,000 and £5,000 a month profit. So in that way, the job's good, and that's why I don't mind working it for now, because I'm stacking up the money, good, like really good, not necessarily just from the job, but collectively. But here's the thing: when I sit there and think, okay, so I'm 21. Right. This is what life looks like until 60 or 70. Or by the time we retire, because obviously at our age, if you're my age or around, maybe 80. As living estimates go up, maybe we'll be working for longer if we can't afford to retire. And then I think, okay, so how many years is that from now? 60, 40, 50? Do I want to be giving up every day of my life, basically, -2 a week, for the next 40, 50 years? I do not. And quite frankly, I don't think I can do it. I could if I had to, but I know I don't have to. Because in a way, it's a difficult thing coming from the position that I am in to looking and being excited about full-time work. I've made no secret of the fact before that I come from a relatively poor family, right? We didn't have much money growing up. And the fact that I was able to go from that position to making thousands of pounds online, like I am now, and have been in the past, it's taught me the fact that, number one, work is actually not the most successful way to get you rich, because, like I say, my parents were and are working very long hours, right? And obviously, God bless. But when you know that your parents are working full-time, and they've still not got enough money to really support the family to the degree that they'd like to, you see that work's not necessarily the best thing. And now, after living that myself, I've realised what a 9-to-5 looks like. It's people racing home from work because they've only got a couple of hours. It's going to bed tired, late, and then waking up early to go back to work. It's dreadful. It really is. And I can sit there and laugh about it for myself, and I feel bad for anyone that's permanently in it. Because for me, I know that I can quit relatively soon. You know, it was an experiment for me, and I've learnt a lot. Maybe I'll go permanent, we'll see. But for me, it's been a really interesting experiment, because you learn a lot. The biggest lesson I'd say, though, is learning the importance of working for myself. When you work at a company, even if it's the best company in the world, let's face it, most businesses have got policies. Whether it's you can't go for a break, whether it's because you can't go for a break, you can't get a drink, or something like that, right? These are all some of the issues that I face. When I work on my own businesses, yeah, I might need to do 6-7 hours a day, let's say, to really make £3,000-4,000-5,000 a month, but they're hours of my choice. If I am the kind of guy who wants to go to bed at 3 in the morning, I can start my online work at 7 p.m, do a bit then, maybe, you know, when I wake up, whether it's early or late. For example, this is not the way I live, but potentially, right? I can then go straight into work. I can then quit for 2 hours, go to the gym, go for a walk, see a friend, have a day off if I really want to, and pick up the slack the next day. Whatever. This is beautiful. That's a great thing about online business. Not just online business, but running your own business. So yeah, obviously the job has increased my income. Let's not say otherwise. If you're working near full time, you are going to make a lot of extra money. And that is going to help. I'm not going to say it's not. But here's the thing. My eBay sales in the past month have rocketed by 100%. And that's not untrue. 100% increase in sales. And they're still going up, right? Today, I've made 4 times the revenue that I made on the same day 30 days ago already, and it's like 2 in the afternoon. This is just the reality of working for yourself, or it can be. It's not always. But because I am in a unique position, I'm not going to lie, in the sense that I have got a car. Unfortunately, it is a very expensive car to refuel. But besides that, I live at home with my family, right? I'm not going to lie. My rental costs, because I do pay the bills, have been paid until next year. The only money that I need right now until next year is spends, in a way, fun money. Obviously, if your car breaks down, but if it breaks down and you don't want to fix it, you can't afford to, you don't have to fix it. So I don't have the desperation anymore to work, or I never really did. It's taught me a lesson, and it's been a period in life, but now I'm never going to think the same, because if I leave the job, because I don't want to give away too much information, but again, hopefully obvious reasons, but it is at the minute a temporary thing, but it's probably going to be a full-time thing. If they want it to be, kind of, am I going to take the full-time contracts? I don't know if I am, because now I've seen, like, damn, it's either working here all day every day, or maybe honestly bringing my laptop and using my mobile data on my phone to work in the woods and just do some eBay listings, or maybe go work in a coffee shop, or maybe go work in another city and have a day out at the same time, business expense potentially. You know what I mean? These are the options that you've got. You can be a traveling person where you can make money from wherever you want, from basically doing copy and pasting, investing, and other different things, making videos, talking, or you can choose to maybe surrender that or share that with a job. And like I say, at the minute, if I'm making £35 an hour from eBay selling most days, or most weeks, if you average it out, I'm starting to be like, time-wise, it's not even sensible to work these hours. Because if I worked an extra, because bear in mind, I'm not going to lie, I also do my eBay listings every day, irrespective if I've got a 6-hour, 8-hour, 10-hour shift or not, right? So if I'm going to be working an extra 25 hours anyway, why not do it for myself and make who knows how much more? And that's what I'm starting to think. Anyway, I think I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but here's my thing, right? I always said I didn't want to work a 9 to 5, and I always kind of knew why. I'm a big advocate of the belief of, if you think something can happen, it can. I've always seen people who have got more money than I can explain, and I've always known that because I've seen my parents and other family members and other friends working and not really getting paid very much, that work is not the only way, or even the best way. But now I really know what that means, and I really know what that looks like in my life. I know how tired you are after running around all day. It's been good, it's fun, but it's not a long-term vision for me. And I'm not complaining, I've enjoyed it, and I will enjoy it when I'm in tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. But at the same time, a lesson is really all it's been. I can't really say I see much of a career for myself, or at least in the sort of industry that I'm in at the minute. I'll keep you guys updated, but honestly, the businesses, they're growing so fast, and I just wanted to share this update with you about what I've learnt. I don't know if this video even made sense. I feel like I've just been talking. But I'm kind of sharing the experience in a way. I'm telling you what I know, what I've seen, and how I feel after working full-time. Or near full-time. It's been part-time, but near enough full-time, right? It's not been unpleasant. It's not been unpleasant fully, but that's because I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. If I knew what I knew now, a year ago, I'd have been scaling the business at the point that I am now, or harder, then. But unfortunately, hindsight is one of those things where we could all do with it, but we never get it. I know what I know now, and thank God I've learnt this lesson at age 21, not age 45. I think that's where people start to have a midlife crisis with it. Anyway, thanks for listening to my opinions, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.